So we're planning to do a major remodel of our campus location on Delmar. And while we're doing that, we're temporarily moving to another building downtown that will be more of a takeout, catering delivery location. We will be available for some limited dine-in as well. We're looking to also be serving beer and wine out of that location.
Gotcha. And can you tell us where the location is?
Yes, we are in the process of acquiring a property at 405 West Walnut. So it's at 405 West Walnut, formerly Mo Beef, formerly Bosky's. We haven't closed on the property yet. We're hoping to do that next week.
Gotcha. So what all led up to this decision to do this?
Well, so we've had some issues with that building. There are some structural issues. There's been some ongoing, and we had planned on doing some remodeling prior to the pandemic. And then some of the things we wanted to fix, the list was just kind of growing and growing. So we felt like it would be a good time to try and just pause the operation and try and fix everything as much as possible at one time.
Gotcha. So at the end of all of the projects, will there be three locations or just the two with Delmar being a lot larger or fixed up?
Right. So we are going to add some parking and some square footage. We've also got some other neat ideas to kind of enhance the neighborhood pedestrian friendly feel of the Delmar store, but it is a big commitment. So we will be focusing on that location once we get it up and running again. What we'll do with the downtown location, we're not sure yet, whether it operates as a satellite facility or we just rent the building back out. We're going to make that decision when we're ready to go.
Gotcha. So are you just waiting on closing the downtown location?
Yes, we hope to receive. There's a rezoning process that we've been going through. Our architect, who's been amazing, Billy Kimmons with Hood Rich, has been working with the city. There's a lot of issues with us being in a neighborhood, and the collaboration has actually been really great with planning and zoning and other people from the city that we've worked with. The city council will vote to approve the rezoning on February 28th. And that's when we can start looking at pulling permits. So we're trying to time everything for kind of the beginning of March as far as like shutting down Delmar. Their last day of operation there with Delmar in its current form will be March 2nd. It's a Saturday. We're not expecting to we're trying to preserve that neighborhood feel as much as possible, preserve as much of the building as possible. So I wouldn't expect any drastic changes for people who've been coming there for a long time. There's a lot of history in that building. We've heard from a lot of customers, or a lot of really neat stories, people proposing to their wives at a table in the restaurant and things like that. So we've got that very much in mind, and we're going to try and keep that feel as much as possible and preserve as much as we can, particularly the main building, the older part of the building.
Gotcha. So what are some like restrictions that you guys have had to deal with, and what is the ultimate plan if everything goes according to plan for the Delmar location?
Well, there were technical issues regarding like how we're wanting to add a second story to one side of the building, and doing that in the neighborhood was an issue with some of the existing codes. So we had to do what's called a planned development, where we're rezoning the house next door along with that property owner, Tracy Wheeler from Greystone Properties, who's been great. So we had to do a planned development for the whole property. And what we're trying to do is have a larger parking lot off the back that will combine both of the properties. We wanted to add some square footage to the kitchen. The kitchen needs to be upgraded and add some more capacity. We're doing a lot more takeout than we did prior to the pandemic. We're doing more catering. We really need to be doing more of that to keep these businesses viable. So that was the master plan, a larger kitchen. We needed more parking. And there were just some issues with that corner that we've been working with the city on how do we make that situation better. There's some, I know people who've been there there's a telephone pole off the back of the parking lot that lots of people have backed into as they've been leaving. So we're trying to get a lot of that fixed, and it's really just taking what we have and really enhancing it as opposed to demolishing the building and rebuilding.
So do you have an estimate of how long do you think the whole remodeling process will take?
Well, so the estimate on the construction itself is 6 months. But there will be some time built in for overruns and addressing permits and any snags that we run into. So we're expecting to really start construction in earnest at the beginning of April, and expect it to run through the end of the year.
Gotcha. This is a pretty big decision for you guys. Something you've been thinking about for a while.
Well, we knew we wanted to do some remodeling at this location. We own this location. We're leasing our space across town. It was just coming out of the pandemic, and there for a while, it was not fun to be in the restaurant business. We were looking at maybe our family shouldn't be dependent on this business for income. We should look for other things to do. But really, since the pandemic has ended, we've really enjoyed a lot of growth. We think we figured out a formula that works for us. And then we just felt like it was time to make an investment in this business.
Gotcha. How long have you guys been over at Delmar?
February of 2003.
Long time.
Yes. Yeah, just a little over 20 years.
Okay. Andy, is there anything I might have missed? Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to go back over our timeline a little bit to make sure I
Sure.
hit everything. We're planning on closing the Delmar store as it's operating currently Saturday, March 2nd. And then we're hoping to have our downtown location open and operating by around the 3rd week of March. So there will be some downtime there, probably 3 weeks, while we're getting set up over there and getting ready to operate.
Gotcha. And you don't know that for sure until everything's closed. And do you know the time frame of when you'll know for sure?
Well, so yes, there's licensing issues that have to be taken care of. But once again, the city's been great. They've already called to schedule the certificate of occupancy inspection. So they're moving quickly to help us out. We just have to make sure we have everything ready to go before we start working in there, and that may take up to 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, is anything else going to change the menu or anything like that?
Well, a lot of people have asked about that, but no, there are no plans to change any menu items. We thought about going with a little bit of a restricted menu at the downtown location, and there may be some options that aren't available for a period of time, but we're really just planning on being able to offer whatever we offered at the Delmar store.